What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, FightfulWrestling.com. Go over there, get all your wrestling news. Have exclusive reports all the time. You can get those early by subscribing to FightfulSelect.com. That is our presenting sponsor of today's show over at FightfulSelect.com. You get all kinds of goodies. Every Wednesday, The List and your boy goes into a bonus episode with The List Goes On. Every week, I have the Fightful Backstage Report podcast. Every other week, a Q&A show. And now, as of right now, 2 times a week, this man, Alex Pawlowski, bringing you some sour graps.
That's right. Sorry, New Day. I will dare be sour. Twice a week, in fact. I've just did a show last Friday. Did one last night covering the draft and how ridiculous that turned out to be, because there was a blockbuster trade.
God.
So I talked a lot about that. And then tonight, after we do this, I am recording a special free preview that will be up, I believe, tomorrow, all about The Fiend, how they fudged it up, and how they might be able to fix it.
So FightfulSelect.com is where you all can go to support that and support us. I think we have like 100 and something subscribers left until I make that Q&A show weekly. So head on over there. It's the most direct way to support us. We also have Mr. Warren Hayes. He is America bound pretty soon. Excited to see how he gets deported.
Yeah, I'm actually excited if they're going. Yeah, to see just if they let me in, based on. But they probably will, considering my fashion sense. They'll be like, "Ooh, what a sharp dressed man here coming across the border. Why wouldn't we let him in? Come, regale us with your tales of threadbare."
What the hell are you talking about? It is October 16th. It's the Wednesday Night War podcast. The way that we handle this, first half of the show is AEW. Which one of you all got assigned to AEW? I forget.
I did.
Warren. So Warren will be taking the lead as I anchor. We will defer to Alex some things in which he can speak about. They both kept their eyes on both programs. So make sure you guys just keep that in mind before you say, well, why did you ask Warren this? Well, we have reasons. Reminder, you can donate a super chat, any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. Fortnite sucks, says AEW needs to calm down on the tag matches. Seems like their creative can't think of anything else. WWE, please take note that the Cody promo makes you invested. Warren, any thoughts on that statement?
I don't have a problem with the tag matches. In fact, it's a very, I don't know, maybe it's because I've watched a lot of New Japan. It's a very New Japan way of approaching things, just going in and having your main feuds be intertwined into these tag matches to help build some story. To me, this is it's very New Japan. I dig it. I don't have a problem with it. And plus, AEW said that AEW would be the home for tag team wrestling. So we got some tag team wrestling and we got some good tag team showing tonight. So I'm okay with it. Plus, yes, I agree. The Cody Rhodes segment was very good.
Also, Alex, I'm interested in your thoughts on this. If a team like Kenny Omega and Hangman Page ended up somehow winning 2 or 3 matches as a team, AEW doesn't have the track record like WWE of like, oh, well, they won't make anything of this. There's a possibility that AEW might be like, hey, you're doing pretty well as a team. Let's capitalize on this and make that the story, as opposed to, hey, we're going to pair these 2 guys up and make them champions immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a possibility that they could, like, hey, if you guys keep the winning streak alive, there might be a tag title match in it for you. And here are these guys who made it far in the tournament we just had. And if you beat these 3 teams on the next 3 weeks, we're going to get a title shot. Hey, that's a cool thing. That's a story you can do. Also, you have to remember there's a lot of people who are tuning into AEW who watched mostly WWE stuff, have heard about a lot of these guys, but not necessarily seen a lot of them in action. And they're like, man, WWE sucks right now. I'm going to watch AEW Let's see who these guys are, and this way you get as many of them as possible on your TV show to build a following. Saying, I really like that guy that I saw in that tag match. I'm going to tune in next week. So that's something that a new company can do to build interest.
Kevin Langhoff says that draft was drafty, a lot of holes, blockbuster trade. I want to trade my TV for a blindfold. I think that was a poem. Also, whatever you're into, buddy, I'm not here to judge, but Blue Chew is not sponsoring tonight's show, so take your blindfolds elsewhere, or at least let Warren borrow it this week. AEW Dynamite. The Lucha Brothers jumped SCU during their entrance ahead of the tag team tournament match. Took Christopher Daniels out. Now, Warren, Kazarian and Daniels were going to be the combination of SCU in this match, as Scorpio Sky said that he was going to have experience over explosiveness. I did not like the attack because Phoenix was like holding on for a painfully long amount of time waiting on Scorpio Sky. I like the idea of it, though. And then SCU kind of had to fight from under, because this match, to me, was all about making Scorpio Sky. And even though this match had plenty of hiccups, the main thing I came away from wasn't the awkward Phoenix spot. It wasn't the messed up spots. It was that Scorpio Sky looked like a goddamn star.
Yep, absolutely. I think this whole endeavor made both things. Like I completely agree. I think, look, Scorpio Sky is going to be, if again used properly, this guy can be, pardon the pun, dynamite for AEW. I think he really has something fantastic to offer on the singles end. The guy is charismatic. He can go. He is explosive. That's his thing. Again, with the dynamite puns, but. This did help put him over. I love, just the little things, his things with the shoe, that was a nice little touch, that little improv that he did there. And that was fantastic.
Getting thrown back was even great.
And getting it thrown back, I thought that was fantastic. And it also helped to make sure that we understand that we're not supposed to like the Lucha Bros, because everyone likes the Lucha Bros. But I think, AEW management took a step back and like, who are our heel teams? Sure. We're not supposed to have heels and faces here. But who are our heel teams? And I think SCU, they're over. You have the sing-along with SCU. Everyone wants to do it. It's fantastic. Taking out Christopher Daniels, who is a bona fide legend. Good shot. That was fine. So I think it served two very, very clear purposes tonight. And we were well served for it.
And, Alex, what do you think about SCU going over here?
I think I was surprised. I thought the best friends were gonna go pretty far in the tournament, but I wasn't on the show last week. I was out of town, but when I watched the thing, I was not surprised to see Private Party go over the Young Bucks, because I thought that is how you put over a young team and make brand new stars. You have your guys who are basically part owners of this Fed, and they lay down for these guys. They actually put them over, and everyone knows the Young Bucks are. So you have Private Party go over them. You make the stars. I think you do the same thing with SCU. You're anybody who knows Christopher Daniels from all of his time in TNA. Him getting taken out. Oh no. I like him. I remember him. Who's this new guy who's filling in for him? Scorpio Sky. Holy crap, Scorpio Sky! Like, basically, that's the idea, is you get as many of these guys on the TV that people who don't know them, but all of a sudden, well, now I want to see everything Scorpio Sky does, because I watched him in this match. Look at the crap he did with only one shoe. What could he do with two shoes in an entire match? Also, one thing I loved is Scorpio Sky not being in his ring gear, because he wasn't supposed to wrestle. So he ran down to look after Daniels. He was just wearing whatever he was wearing. And it was like, well, I guess I'm in this match now. No time to change. Let's do it this way. I thought that was a really cool touch. Very nice realism added to this proceedings.
Yeah, I think the match could have been better. The setup could have been better, but Scorpio Sky looked really good. The Inner Circle of Santana and Ortiz defeated Alex Reynolds and John Silver. You've seen John Silver on Ring of Honor, WWE, NXT. He's worked a lot of places. This was a squash match. I don't dig the proud and powerful gear, name, song, all that stuff. It seems really forced, Warren. Am I alone in that?
Well, yeah, yes, but I guess you have to start somewhere. I mean, I think it's some, you do have to go through these motions just to get your tag team, just to get them known, just to have them be put over. You can't expect everyone to just know who they are out of Impact.
I would just be fine with Santana and Ortiz until they find a name. Proud and Powerful doesn't exactly scream out cutthroat heels to me.
No, but I mean, I'm okay with them using their names. I'm okay, and it has a ring to it. I think it works. They feel like a couple of hitmen with that kind of tag team name. It works for me.
Well, the Street Sweeper ruled. I love the squash match. Any thoughts on that?
That's what you needed to do. Like this is probably like I said, you don't necessarily have to assume. You can't assume that everyone knows who they are out of Impact. You're introducing them to a new audience. You have to show that they're a couple of hard as nails kind of guys. So yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the squash matches. Look how well it worked for the War Raiders. They should do the same thing with Santana Ortiz.
Alex, we have Santana and Ortiz challenging the Young Bucks for Full Gear, which happened via a video promo from Chris Jericho. I'm glad to see that the Lucha Brothers Young Bucks carousel is over. What do you think about this challenge?
This makes perfect sense. You have the heel tag team from the Inner Circle, and they're going up against the fan favorites. The Young Bucks are always going to be fan favorites. This is the perfect way to further establish your dominant heel team in the JWO, the Jericho World Order. This is good. I also loved Jericho announcing it on the Tron. Yeah, by the way, my boys are challenging your boys. Do you accept? I think Jericho, this Hollywood Hogan version of Chris Jericho, is really doing it for me. I love all that stuff, and yes, I'm very excited to see when you actually let Santana Ortiz really go against the Young Bucks in a marquee match on a pay-per-view. Let's see what these guys got in this particular setting. I know those guys are fantastic. I want to see them in this setting, where they have something to really prove. Let's see it.
And it's a smart match to put on Full Gear as well. Yeah. I mean, this is something that people wanted to see for a long time. The minute that we started hearing that their contract was going to be up in Impact, the minute everyone was like, "Get them in AEW, have them fight the Bucks. This is what we want to see." Well, there you go.
Reminder, guys, leave a thumbs up if you're watching live on YouTube. Subscribe if you leave a super chat, any amount. We can answer your question or read your statement on the air. It is worth noting, and perhaps we'll talk about this at the end of the show. Bushiroad, which owns New Japan Pro Wrestling, has announced it has purchased Stardom. So
what?
Yes, lots of old takes will age either wonderfully or horribly in the coming weeks, and I'm very excited for that.
I'm thrilled that you will really become a Joshi pro from this point on, Sean.
Yeah, you damn right I will be. Speaking of, Riho versus Dr. Britt Baker for the AEW Women World's Championship. Now, here's the thing. I see a lot of criticism for Britt Baker, and is she completely polished in the ring? No, she's not, but she had never been on TV regularly before this. Not only that, she was not a full-time pro wrestler before this she was in dental school. If you didn't know before, she's a dentist, guys. But also, she didn't go through a developmental territory or anything like that. Alex, before Warren and I discussed this match, what are your thoughts on that? I think a lot of people automatically just say, "Oh, she's the first woman signed, poster girl," like that.
Yeah, I think they do. It remains to be seen, where she's going to fit in the long term in this women's division. We're not really sure how anything's going to shake out. Who's going to get over with the fans, all that stuff, because a lot of them are, as I've said, are new to a lot of fans. The one thing that I think is unfortunate, and we saw that tonight, the fact that she's a dentist has to now be worked into every match where she's doing weird things to her opponent's mouth And in this case, it got her, distracted by her own weird spelunking into Riho's open orifice, and then she got rolled up. So yeah, it's a weird thing. There's ways of making the dentist thing work, where it's not the only thing about your character, but so far, not so good with that. Let's see what she can do in the ring where she's not like trying to figure out ways of using, one of them little hand mirrors with a little thing.
To me, when I look at somebody's upside, when they're Britt's been wrestling for about 4 or 5 years, but hasn't had the cage time, the ring time, anything like that, as we say in MMA, to kind of really reflect that. I had pointed out she'd wrestled 20 matches this year. Deonna Purrazzo, before she got signed by WWE, told me that her target was 100 per year, and she blew past that. A guy like Joey Ryan, 140, 150 times a year, he's wrestling on the independent circuit. Britt hasn't got those reps yet, and there's still things that she does that are so smooth that they're really hard to teach. Like, you have to have the instincts to do them, and you see elements of that, but you also see elements of how green she is and how new she is. Warren, do you think one outweighs the other?
I think you nailed it exactly on the head, and this was a perfect match to demonstrate that. And I don't know. I think she is overall just green might not be the word, because when she's wrestling someone and Riho, like Riho, and Riho goes to slam her, to lift her, and you see her, Britt, lowering her center of gravity to block it, doing it a couple of times, and just out of instinct. That means that she does have something. There is something there. She's not green. I think I think the key word here is polish. She just needs to get out there more. And, we've talked about this with on a few occasions regarding Lacey Evans, how we would have liked Lacey Evans to wrestle some of the shooters on NXT before being moved up. This is a bit the same kind of situation, but Britt didn't have the luxury, like you said as well earlier, of being in a performance center where people can actually work on her skills at that point. There was a lot of good stuff. I liked her swinging neck breaker. I thought that was really nice. That was the
turning point. Sorry to interrupt me. I thought it was really rough up until that point, and that kind of turned it around.
Yes, and Riho is fantastic. She commentary puts it up over enough. I don't think I have to mention it again, but she is small. So the fact that she is able to pull off a Northern Lights suplex like she did on Baker, it's a testament to her skill and her hidden strength. Let's call it that. I think this match was half and half for me, I thought Riho ended up shining nonetheless.
Alex, where do you see Britt Baker going from here?
I don't know. The other thing is that they haven't had Awesome Kong. They haven't had to have her. They have her on the little opening thing.
She's a full-time employee of
right.
AEW.
She's there. She's on the little opening.
I don't need her wrestling on Dynamite, buddy. She couldn't wrestle 3 years ago. No,
but the fact that they've decided that she's part of this company, hasn't appeared yet on TV, is interesting. I don't know how of all the things happening in AEW, I really don't know where the women's division is going to shake out in the coming months. Britt Baker, I think, could very well be at the very top of it, or she could slide down depending on what people's reactions are to her.
AEW Tag Team Tournament match. Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt get beat by the Lucha Brothers. Now, shortly before this show happened, Luchasaurus had to pull out due to a hamstring injury. He was replaced by Marco Stunt. Personally, if this were me booking it, it would have been one big move, one big hope spot for Marco Stunt. Then these heels just destroy him. They keep Jungle Boy at bay, and you're out of there 3 or 4 minutes. This went about 12 or 13. The story of the match, and you could... it's just me freestyling here. I think they had probably timed this out earlier and said, let's do this. But part of live TV is being able to pivot and being able to read this and adjust the story. The story became Marco Stunt isn't just some little kid. Here he is fighting back. I think that could have been told at another time. And if you wanted to get these guys over as real shit heels, the Lucha Brothers. I think it could have been done there. But Warren, I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. That's a kind of what I was thinking. I'm torn. I'm torn because I like Marco Stunt. I like him I like him in the aspect of a modern day Spike Dudley, where it's like he's not supposed to be doing what he's doing. He's too small. He doesn't look the part, and yet he is the part. So there's this one part where I'm like, damn, this is smart, because there's every time I put out a tweet where I say I say something positive about Marco Stunt, I will get 3 to 4 people saying he's awful. He's not awful. He's a lot of things, but he's not bad at what he does. Yeah. He's really entertaining. So whenever he does get a chance to shine like that, good. And I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention it here. As much as it was important to put the Lucha Bros as a heel team over at the start, which I think was part of the general conceit of the opening segment, I think they could have pushed the envelope here and went for chapter 2 and just have them destroy Marco Stunt and not even give him a chance to fight back and just mess with him. Have Jungle Boy come in for the desperation hot tag, but Stunt being destroyed at this point would have got a ton of heat. But then on top of that, Sean, I love Jurassic Express. Jurassic Express is one of their top acts that, right now over, like as a unit. Luchasaurus, it's a shame that he's injured. But as a team that is completely, instantly over with the crowd, they've been over since Fyter Fest. Like completely over. At some point, if indeed in AEW wins and losses do matter, and just for the general appreciation from the audience, you are going to have to let these guys win because they have a losing record. They have not scored a single victory since becoming a tag team. Yeah. And at some point, we say this a lot about WWE, we want to be able to cheer. We want to be able to get behind winners.
Evans is taking a pin soon.
So at some point, I wonder what they're doing with them. And I also noticed that I kind of had the feeling tonight that JR doesn't like the Jungle Boy gimmick because he referred to Jungle Boy as Jack Perry quite a few times. Jungle Jack Perry. I kind of feel he doesn't care for it much, and I don't care for him not caring for it.
I wouldn't be surprised, Alex, and you can chime in on this, if they do switch to the Jungle Jack Perry name because of the connection and because they can get some crossover and because they can get some people that say, oh, that's whose kid he is.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. I do think that a lot of what you had with the Jurassic Express team was the novelty of the really tall guy in the dinosaur mask, and then the little like Tarzan boy who rides him to the ring. Like that's the novelty of it. Without Luchasaurus, you can't like replace Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt and have the same team. It's a completely different thing. Like they did the same with where their little entrance video starts with the cup of water that starts jiggling because Luchasaurus is walking to the ring. And I wanted so badly for Jungle Boy to come out with Marco Stunt on his shoulders, just like reverse it because he's bigger than Marco Stunt and they could do the same, but they didn't. The piggyback thing was fine too. Yeah, I agree. The actual Jurassic Express as that team, once Luchasaurus is healthy, they need to start picking up wins because people want to root for them, and people don't like rooting for perpetual losers.
It's okay to have Marco Stunt eat some of those pins, and Luchasaurus even says, like in an interview with JR or somebody like that, like, hey, if AEW wants me, they got to keep him. He's my buddy. Like one of those types of things. Also, Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, has some outstanding instincts in the ring as well. Like there was a German suplex that didn't look great, and the bridge wasn't there, so he immediately, like without hesitating, rolls Pentagon over to pin him. That is one of those instincts that just like you come with, that you just know, and that's pretty good. We have Pac and Jon Moxley against Omega and Hangman Page. Omega and Page end up picking up the win here. This was a bananas match, a wild one. Warren, walk us through it, your favorite spots and how it went down.
I like how the Elite just went after the heels from the get-go. Paige and Omega just went straight after them. I thought this was good because they both have their individual heat with both of those guys. I thought it was fantastic. Paige again tonight had a really great showing. He had this his nice sequence where he hit a pescado on Pac, then runs back into the ring and hits a clothesline on Mox as well. He does his corner moonsault at some point, but then Mox just Pac. It's Pac. Sorry, guys. That's going to get some time getting used to. Pac distracts, and then Moxley just shoves him off the turnbuckle, and man, Paige flies before landing on the apron. Like he gets some serious air as well. And there was also a segment where Paige and Omega had this great tag sequence, this double team sequence on Pac that ended up with Omega hitting a sit out power bomb and a standing shooting star press. And then Moxley and Omega, this was the moment, the highlight of the match, when they started slugging at each other, going completely strong style on each other. They trade some strikes. There's a V trigger. Omega runs the ropes, and Moxley just lariats the hell out of him. It was really good. We saw the toys. We saw the barbed wire bat and the barbed wire broom. It was bat versus broom, which actually sounds like a show that would have been on Spike TV back in the day. And what I loved here, when they say they wanted AEW, they said they wanted the referees to have personality. Well, Bryce Rensburg was like, no, I'm out of here. And you guys do what you want. And he just hits the bricks. He leaves the ring. I thought that was fantastic. I love that.
Let's be fair. For most AEW tag matches, the ref might as well do that. There's nothing even resembling rules there. And we got Pac losing.
Yeah, his first loss. And this is what I really liked. Pac. What I really liked was Pac, when he sees Moxley with the bat, after he and Omega start swinging at each other, he comes in, he's like, what the hell are you doing? I don't want to lose this match. I don't want to get disqualified. So what does Moxley does? He double bird and he death driver synergies, whatever. He leaves. So I like this. I like it because since wins and losses are supposed to matter, and they matter to Pac, and we know they matter to him because of past history, it's fantastic. I really dug that. And it also adds to Moxley's character in a way where he doesn't care about wins or losses. He just wants to beat people up, and he wants to beat Kenny Omega up. So I like this part of the story. This was a great match of the night as far as AEW goes.
Alex, any quick thoughts on this one?
No, I agree. Match of the night for AEW. I love, as you said, if wins and losses matter, you got to have some of your characters really concerned about their win-loss record, or as JR pointed out, the winner's purse. Like, some guys got to be concerned about that, and I love that Moxley's a guy who isn't concerned about it. Yeah. This was a lot of fun to watch, and all four guys looked good somehow in a match with four of your top singles in it as in a tag team match. That very rarely happens in other companies.
Still trying to decide how I feel about referees' discretion so often, because here's the thing. It's legitimately a thing in like New Japan. Like, you almost never see DQs, and that's just the product. It will just take some getting used to. And if it's consistent, I guess I'm okay with it. I really enjoyed ECW back in the day. So it's all a matter of consistency and continuity and sense. That's the thing. And we don't see a lot of that out of WWE, so that's why maybe I'm not as optimistic, but it's a different company. World Championship match, Darby Allin comes up short against Chris Jericho. Allin at some point got his hands taped behind his back. I really dug this. I thought it made Allin look good. Jericho still had to cheat a little bit in this street fight, so to speak. Jake Hager had to show up and knock him off the ropes. I do have some problems with it. Quite frankly, if you do a good lateral press to a guy whose hands are taped behind their back, they ain't kicking out. That's a big hole for me.
Especially if you outweigh them by 70 pounds.
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
A good lateral press across the shoulders, and unless they've got a really powerful kick out, because the point of a kick out is to rock your body to the point to where your shoulders pop off the mat. That's the whole point of it. And I don't think he's strong enough to do that. That's a gaping hole there for me. But otherwise, I enjoyed this. I liked the slam onto the skateboard. That was a good touch. Warren, what did you think?
I thought Darby Allin brought his best show face. I thought he was really, really good. Basically what they want to project with Allin is that he's not afraid to put his body through anything. He's not afraid to jump off of stuff, do anything that is needed to win a match. Taping the hands was such a nice touch. The lion salt with the hands tied was behind his back was such a nice touch. I really, really liked it. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was a fine main event. It worked well. Jericho did classic Jericho stuff. I kind of feel like Allin is still there's still stuff that we haven't seen from him yet. However, since I'll be completely transparent, I've been introduced to Darby Allin thanks to AEW, and the more I see the guy, the more I love what he does. I've become a fan. I've jumped on the bandwagon. I'm really excited to see how he keeps progressing, because he's so fluid, especially for a guy who's been doing this for 4 years. It's nuts what he's able to do, what he's ready to put his body through as well. So this was okay. Didn't like the finish as well. I think, I kind of figured Jericho could have managed without his posse helping out. But then again, I also get the idea, that he wants to be a loudmouth chicken heel. That's fine, but we could have done without that particular ending.
I think that Darby Allin has that silent Jeff Hardy type of charisma, and of course that's an easy comparison because of their style and stuff, but he's not the greatest promo in the world that I've seen, but he just has that thing that makes you go, okay, I'm interested in watching him. Alex, any final thoughts on this one?
I think Darby Allin's a future megastar for this company if they use him right. Jericho's really, really charismatic, even when he's being complete chicken shit. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really going to help out this company that they have him at the top, at least for now. And if he stays very influential in this company, and this company is a success over the next 5 years, you really have to start putting him at the very, very tip top all time of influential and top stars, because he's been so versatile his whole career, and him being the tippy top guy of this brand new company, like, he's relishing that, and he's really sticking into it. I love what he's doing.
That is AEW tonight. I thought a pretty strong show. We do have a few super chats. Someone says, Sean, where's your caption? Are you not tall anymore? I'm tall forever, buddy. Thoughts on NXT Japan? I don't know that it exists or that it will exist. I don't have any insight on that situation, but no real insight on that. Quite frankly, I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea, and I don't think it would go well. Somebody says, okay, was this the major news? Bushiroad and Stardom? That's the major one that I was hearing about. And Rob says, Yankum versus Baker DDS intergender match presented by Crest. God damn it. So I actually wrote an article once called Britt Baker has heard all your Isaac Yankum DDS jokes, and she's tired of them. She says she gets those often. Reminder, guys, if you happen to be in the Maysville, Kentucky area, I am calling Empire Fight Series 1 this Saturday. First MMA event in Maysville, Kentucky ever. Several members of our fight team will be participating in that. Doing a one-man booth. I'll let you all know broadcast details as soon as I can. Show it a little bit of love, but show this show some love. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe. NXT review. Alex, what'd you think of this show?
NXT continues to impress me every week with the caliber of their in-ring work. I'm waiting for this thing to settle down into not just like bangers every 15 minutes, start another one for 2 hours, and actually settle into really getting the character feuds established. But I'm not going to complain when all the in-ring work is so outstanding. We had a lot of really cool returns with Tegan Knox and Tommaso Ciampa. And the main event, I would have absolutely assumed was going to be Lee versus Dijakovic. And instead, it was Dunne and Priest, and they made the right call. Like that's how deep this is. I mean, Dunne and Priest right now. Like, if it's actually a feud that's going to continue, is what the 4th or 5th most important feud on the show, and it rightfully main evented. Like, it's kind of amazing.
Tommaso Ciampa is back. He took on Angel Garza. God damn, Ciampa looked in great shape.
Looks so good, man.
So good.
Any thoughts on the physique, Warren?
Oh, that I remember when he returned, like when he returned that first time, and he came out to no music and to the booze, and everyone was like, "Holy crap, he's jacked!" And seeing him on my dual screen tonight, I was like, oh, he's jackeder. It's crazy how fantastic he looks. That guy is in a shape.
Garza ripped his pants off at one point during this match, Alex.
He does that in every match. That's just shtick.
I love it.
He's handsome.
A good pant ripping is good.
Yes.
True.
You can make a good living out of that. I thought this match was exactly what it needed to be, Alex.
Absolutely. Garza got in a few licks, but Ciampa was always going to win it. His new thing of Daddy's Home, that's going to stick, as well as the crowd chanting Daddy Ciampa. That's gonna the next time they actually have a match, the Johnny Wrestling Daddy Ciampa back and forth chant is just going to go on for 15 minutes. So yeah, I thought this was good. I love that he's decided to use his draping DDT, which always looks so vicious, as his finisher now, and the fact that he now calls it the Widow's Bell, like, that's just dark as hell, and I love it. I love it.
Like I said, man, Ciampa looked really good. Glad to see him back. He sat on a chair with his crutch as Undisputed Era came out and surrounded the ring. So Kyle handed something over to Morrow, Alex.
He threw him a USB drive, and I was like, a USB? Is it 2006?
What are you
Is this
using?
A flashback episode? What happened? Like, I thought that was awesome.
Wait, hold on. What are you using as removable media?
I would think he would have like here, I'm going to email you this link to a private YouTube video. Like, I mean, I don't know what he would have done, but like a USB drive is wonderfully like somehow analog for this time in history, and I think it's great because also absolutely Kyle O'Reilly has a camcorder that saves things to USB drives. Kyle O'Reilly does have that. It's absolutely in line with his character. It's perfect.
I wonder if there is such a thing.
It must.
No SD cards, only USB.
No. Yeah, right? That's right.
We return to see a video of the aftermath of Undisputed Era's attack on Velveteen Dream, which was on the USB drive.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Alex?
I thought this was really good. Here's the thing I love about it. I love the details of this. When they all come down to the ring and surround Ciampa, I thought Roddy Strong had cut his Undisputed Era T-shirt into an asymmetrical deep V. I thought he'd like just show off part of his chest and be like, "Hey man, I'm the really cool guy on this team," because he's totally not. And I love that Roddy Strong sinks into being like the dork who thinks he's cool. I think that's a great line for him. But when we saw the video, it turns out that when he had thrown Velveteen Dream off the truck, that Dream had grabbed his shirt and torn it. It was not intentionally cut. It was something that had happened during the fight, and he was still wearing it when he went out to the ring. Like, details like that, like, will always make me pop. I thought that was really cool. I think it's an interesting way of getting Dream out of the picture and moving on to something else, and also making Undisputed Era look like, listen, there are four of us. any one of you isn't going to stand in our way. I think that's a really good way of doing it.
Hannah Moore sends a super chat and says, "Let me airdrop this, Morrow." I think it would have been really funny if Kyle O'Reilly was like, "Hey, I'm sending you something," and he slips him like a note, and Morrow goes, "You still use Hotmail?" Like something like that. That would have been.
You should have given him a floppy disk, like.
Or no, those zip drives that everybody thought were just gonna they're gonna eradicate the floppy disk, but they got completely skipped over.
Yes.
I burned it onto a CD. I used the data option.
You'll have to mount it. You'll have to mount my DVD-R.
Wow, you even put you did the CD stomper on this to put the thing on top. That's very classy. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch are beaten by the Imperium combo of Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel. Fabian Eichner looks like Rick Moranis blew up Danny Burch. They look like if Ozzy and Jose Canseco shaved their heads. Like they are twins. Any thoughts on that assessment, Warren?
I would never say that to his face. I'll just
hell no.
I would ever say that you're a blown up Rick Moranis.
No.
I love Fabian Eichner. He's a guy. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic, and then suddenly he's transferred. He has his ups and downs in NXT. Then he's transferred over to NXT UK. He gets paired up with Marcel Barthel, where he suddenly becomes the muscle of the team, the impulsive, angry guy. But he used to be a cruiserweight, and he kind of still wrestles like a cruiserweight. But man, can he lay it in? I love what they've done with Eichner over the past year. I love the pairing with Barthel. It works so well. I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan of both of them since they started their tag team in NXT UK.
Yeah, Eichner, the way I described it when he was in the Cruiserweight Classic is that Fabian Eichner looks like a human bicep grew a face. Like that's like
guys.
That's before he put on the muscle.
So true. He's just this. He looks like he's got the rhino body but smaller. Like he's a complete rectangle, but it's just straight up muscle. Like I think it's so cool. I love the pairing. I think they're fantastic as the backup for Walter. I think that's great. I love them in a match versus Wani and Tui, Oni and Danny Burch. I love those two guys together. I think they seem to heal each other with the power of their screams, and I love that that's a thing that they do. Yeah, this was a really fun match. It got Walter's backup guys over, got them a big win because people love Oni and Danny. I think, and with good cause. Oni's Twitter game is unmatched. He had the saddest goodbye to Eric Bischoff yesterday. When he tweeted, Eric Bischoff was always my guy to play in WCW NWO Revenge because he did body. But of course, he does it in all caps. So actually what he tweeted was, Eric Bischoff was always my guy to play in WCW NWO Revenge because he did karate. So I love Oni. I'll always love Oni.
We have a super chat. Kevin Langhoff says, appreciate what you guys do at Fightful. Respect. If NXT moves out of Full Sail, I might need some Blue Chew. NXT is the one thing we love out here. It's more than wrestling. We are a community. Well, you might be a traveling community very soon, based on what I heard. And maybe about every other week traveling. From what I hear is possibly in the cards.
Well, I mean, then you could develop a community kind of like, with the Grateful Dead in the days, You'd have people in their Westphalias following them around and on tour. Sure.
Io Shirai beats Caden Carter. I like Caden Carter. I really dig her. I think that she'll be one of those people that emerges and does pretty well, but Io Shirai gets the win here, and she is just good at this, Alex.
Really, really good at this. Good at this also with
you are bad at talking into the microphone.
Caden Carter is also very good at this, and surprised me. Like I tweeted out when I saw who was facing Io Shirai, I was like, oh no, Caden, honey, you in danger, girl. This is not good for you because I thought Io was going to squash her, and Caden got in some good offense. They have obviously have plans for her in the future. I don't know if you look where she's going to be, and let's say 12 to 18 months, and see if she's not somewhere near the top of the card. She's got a really cool look, very marketable, a lot of good offense. She takes a beating well as well. But Io Shirai, that stalling German suplex was nasty, and her moonsault is always amazing. Her springboard drop kick was great. Io Shirai is like one of the top women in the world, and she might be like third or fourth right now in NXT, which just shows you how deep that NXT women's division is. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I thought this was another match that was what it needed to be.
Right.
Johnny Gargano, we see a video package for his career. He's interviewed, and he says, I'll have to see how I feel about Ciampa when I see him face-to-face. That was nice. There was a spot after the Io Shirai match. Rhea Ripley confronted her. Io cursed her out in Japanese before it's announced that by William Regal, the winner of Lee and Dijakovic will get a North American title match. I like that there are a lot of people jockeying for the position of who might get to knock off Shayna Baszler. Warren, I think that's good. It not only makes so many people seem like they want it, it makes Shayna and her spot feel more important.
And this is crucial if you have not been an NXT viewer over the past, 18 months now? It's crucial that you understand just how important Shayna is and how dominant she is. And it just adds to the mystique of the title, mystique of the woman. My hopes of, you brought up last week, of Asuka maybe coming over to NXT to challenge Shayna. I guess the fact that she's a tag team champion now, maybe it dashes those hopes a little bit.
So now. Yeah.
No, I don't think so either. But you know what? Hey, let them fight for the opportunity to fight for to get smushed by Shayna. I'm okay with that.
Well, worth noting that assuming that something doesn't happen next week and Shayna Baszler loses the NXT title, she'll hold it for 1 year in a couple weeks. Also, Nick Aldis is about to pass the 1 year mark for the NWA World's Championship. Both of them would have reigns significantly longer, but they each lost it for like a couple of months to a couple of transitional champions. Well, not transitional, just sort of interim champions, so to speak. And in WWE, I don't think there's anybody else that's held a title for 200 days. I think Walter's held his for just under 200, and Becky Lynch is pretty close because she's held hers since WrestleMania. So it seemed like for a decade or more, we didn't see anybody in WWE holding titles that long. Now there's the New Day, Pete Dunne, AJ Styles, Shayna Baszler. I'm sure there are others too.
Jinder Mahal.
I mean,
Rob Wilkins, I don't quite understand his super chat, says, what did Devon say? Bubba, McDonald's, test the fries. Oh, God damn it. I just got Bart Simpsoned. I got Bart Simpsoned by one of our biggest supporters. That's not cool, man. I'm embarrassed. Oh, son of a bitch. All right, I guess there's wrestling to talk about. Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic. Now, this went to a no contest because Roderick Strong, that slimy little shit, interfered. And he's got to know better. But that's
that's the best thing. I love that Roddy Strong wouldn't know better.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, guys. A part of the charm of Undisputed Era is that they're so slimy and shitty and stupid is that they don't know the thing that happens all the time.
It's so good. They think that I love that they think they're immune to this stuff when obviously they're not. They're like, no, I'm for the Undisputed Era. Like, tropes don't apply to me, man.
And they always overreact when it happens. They're like,
yes.
What? That's never happened. You're going to restart the match when I got automatically DQ'd? There's no precedent for that. That's them.
Yes, yeah. The match leading up to the disqualification was everything was billed to be. It was so much fun. I loved it, and I was like, man, I don't want either of these guys to lose, because I can't wait to see what they would do with Roddy Strong in a title match. And whoops, Roddy Strong solved that problem for me because he went out there and got both the guys put into a match with him next week. And I mean, I don't know what you program opposite that on AEW that, you know, if I wasn't watching both of them, that if I had to switch between channels, I don't know what you program on AEW. Maybe it's Moxley versus Pac that would get me to switch between and not just keep it on NXT, watching Lee and Dijakovic and Strong for the North American title.
This match was awesome. Keith Lee scared me by reverse Ronning on his skull. I don't need to see that anymore. Warren, did you think he was paralyzed? I did.
I just saw a bunch of tweets of people saying he's dead. Oh my God, he's dead. I mean, you know, there's a difference between, you know, reverse running yourself, or at least, you know, flubbing a reverse running when you weigh 120 pounds, you know, but when you weigh Keith Lee's girth, yeah, that's scary.
This was great. I love that they're carrying this absolute fire feud from the indies over here and making it their own. I really dig that. Matt Riddle defeated Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed got quite a bit of offense. As we've mentioned in every Matt Riddle match, the dude just loves to sell.
He does. He loves it.
Like, maybe a little too much. Like, honestly, Final Flash, I thought, should have probably pinned Bronson Reed here. What'd you think, Alex?
I love that he went into it and shook his hand, said, I can't wait to fight you. Like Matt Riddle loves fighting.
Yes. Part
Part of fighting is getting beaten up. Like, I don't think he would like it if he squashed somebody and the other guy got no offense in, because Matt Riddle loves the taste of his own blood. Like, he's just this. I love that he's this really lackadaisical, total stoner dude. Like, you get in the ring and he becomes the Tasmanian devil. Like, I think that's an amazing character, and I love that Bronson Reed got in some good licks. I like the sequence where he got his knees up on Riddle's senton and then did one of his own. Like, see, like, I outweigh you by 100 pounds. This is going to hurt you more. I thought that was great. His gotch, like, tombstone into the front slam thing. That's so good. You said that the flash knee. All this thing was great, and what it did was further establish that Matt Riddle is a guy who's not going anywhere. He lost his match to Adam Cole, but he's going to be champion one day.
I thought honestly he was going to go to Raw or SmackDown after that. I did.
Me too.
I love the Gotch style tombstone modifier. I was a big ECW guy when it got on TNN, and around then, they would all steal each other's moves. Everybody would steal each other's moves, and two of the best were That's Incredible, the spinning tombstone, and the Gotch-style pile driver, the cradle pile driver Jerry Lynn would do. Sometimes they would do a Gotch-style spinning tombstone, so that's what that reminds me of. I loved that. I do think the Final Flash should have finished it off, but hey, call me biased. I think Matt's one of the best in the world. Funny story about him squashing people. When we did our podcast, I would always hear stories that people that would go to his seminars, and he would, like, roll with them back to back, and it was like 15, 20 seconds. Like, they would shoot in, neck crank, next one, shoot in, double wrist lock, next one, shoot in, roll him over, get an arm bar, next one. That's what you're getting into. It's announced that Kushida re-injured his wrist against Walter and will be out of action for at least a month. Good way to keep him off TV in the interim, I think. Tegan Nox is back. She's facing Taynara Conti. Tegan Nox gets the win. She wants to insert her name into the conversation. Dakota Kai comes out and hugs her. They've, of course, been down similar roads. Shayna comes out with the horsewomen, and they mock Dakota and Tegan. And I thought, they're so good at just mocking people. They're good at being the mean girls. And when Shayna said, "Aren't you, like, running out of limbs to hurt?" Oh.
You're running out of limbs to rehab is one of the greatest, like, cutting, perfect, like, heel digs. She's Shayna Baszler.
I guess you could say she was surgical with her insult.
That's good. That was very good. Shayna Baszler is an absolute natural at this wrestling thing. Like, it amazes me that she got into it so late in life, because she's, I mean, like, it's amazing to me how good she is at all of it. And that was perfect. That line was perfect.
Warren, what'd you think about this that you got to see, at least?
I like that they're bringing Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler back into the same space, because there's history. There's unresolved history between them both, and I think it makes fantastic sense. And it's not just being the mean girls, it's not like they're not being catty, they're not being, it's not like high school stuff that they're coming out with, the horsewomen. Shayna is unstoppable. She is the final boss of the division, so she can come out and taunt the heroes in whichever way she wants, because she has proven everything she has to prove. At this stage, it's just like, bring me another one. Let's just keep the train flowing, the train going here. I'm beating everyone you're sending towards me. That's fine. And it's just to Alex's point, it's crazy because I remember the feud that she had with Ember Moon, because Ember Moon has to fit into this somehow. But I remember how her feud with Ember Moon in NXT just before she won the NXT championship for the first time. And I remember her promos being so. I remember a lot of us being really excited about how she was in the ring, how, she was, still lacked a little, some smoothness, but she was still very convincing, but her promos weren't that great. But man, she cranked it up during that feud with Ember Moon, and she's been soaring since. She is one of the best women to come out of the PC in a long time.
Yeah. Jason Check says, surgical, take my money. Thank you for the tip. See a Finn Balor video. I think this is a good way to kind of set him up. We don't need extended promos of Finn Balor. What we do need is something different out of Finn Balor, because I don't think collar popping leather jacket Finn Balor is going to get it done in NXT either. But we'll see how he holds up in the ring. Boa did not hold up in the ring very well. He got beat by Killian Dane. Alex, I knew you felt some kind of way about the Killian Dane interaction here.
I mean, I love Killian Dane. I think it's interesting that what it looked like to me last week is that Killian Dane was coming out to get Cameron Grimes. And just because Cameron Grimes got out of there so fast, he just destroyed Boa because Boa was there. This match made it seem like he's just destroying anybody because Boa wanted to get him back. But I do hope that Killian Dane gets his hands on Cameron Grimes at some point, because I just want to see what he does to his hat.
He's not going to do anything to his hat. Cameron Grimes is going to protect that hat with his life.
He's going to step on his hat. It's going to
he won't. He won't. That's horrible.
Played Sunset Riders.
He's going to do one of his. He's going to do one of his sentons to that hat. It's going to squish.
Come on. It's just gross.
Video package for Lio Rush. Then we get the main event, Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest. And there was no match this week, not on Bound for Glory, not on Raw, SmackDown, AEW, that I was excited for more than this. Damian Priest is often overlooked because he didn't have like the PWG run. He didn't have like any of that. And he's a little bit older. This guy rules. And I saw the match that he had with Marty Scurll on ROH pay-per-view, and to me, if he had that kind of match with Marty Scurll, I knew he was going to have an even better one with Pete Dunne, and they have some really good chemistry. Damian Priest winning this match, I think, is the right move. You can build an NXT monster, so to speak, that can work in the ring, and he just doesn't work in the ring, Alex. He works at a pace that he can keep up with anybody. And, Alex, we're talking about 3 monsters on the roster that can do that. Killian Dane maybe not quite as much, but Dijak, Keith Lee, Damian Priest.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The Priest. The one thing I love about Priest is that he can go with anybody, and He could beat anybody. But on a night where he knows he's probably gonna get beat at the end of the match, he's taking a shortcut and he's winning that match. Like he's just it's just a great way of figuring out ways of how he can do it. The same thing with Keith Lee, not the same thing with the as Morrow so indelicately put it, he didn't hit the bullseye, the Archer of Infamy. He didn't do that with Keith Lee, but I did like that he recognized that Pete Dunne wasn't getting put away, so he had to do something. I love that he saw he didn't set up the opportunity to get in behind the ref's back, but he saw the opportunity and he took it. That was great. Priest is the right one to win this because they also set up Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane, and you can transition Pete Dunne right into that feud, and I won't miss this thing at all because Dunne versus Dane is the thing that I'll watch 10 times, and you can do whatever you want to with Priest because he can work with anybody.
Yeah, I saw somebody say, "Oh, Pete Dunne lost again," and I'm like, "Hey, he did have like a 2-year title reign. Like he has had a time, and it can't always be his time. And eventually, much like I talked about the collar popping Finn Balor, we do have to see some more out of him outside of him punching his own jaw and grimacing with a mouth guard. Like we got to see something else."
He did lose this match because he got kicked in the balls,
and that was a fantastic finish.
It was a great finish, but like that's why he lost. If you're like Pete Dunne lost again, he sucks. Like, well, he lost because the other guy cheated. Like that's a different thing. There's a reason why that's a different. There's a difference between the two things. It was not a clean loss.
Smooth finish too. Like the ref distraction to that, and the kick to the balls was solid.
Perfect.
Yep.
Warren Hayes, one word. Who won tonight? NXT or AEW?
It's a tough one.
That is
I think I'm
way more than one word.
Sorry, I'm NXT.
Alex.
NXT.
Well, NXT,
I can tell you why. I can tell you why.
No, I don't need to know why. That's Here's the thing. I don't want to know why. I want to leave it open to interpretation for the YouTube trolls to tell us that they know why. And personally, I'm picking AEW, but it was real close because I loved Damian Priest and Pete Dunne. That was probably my match of the night, probably, and it was real good. Warren, you're getting the hell out of the country. What you got going on, man?
I'm heading to the Midwest of the Americas. I'm gonna go discover American dairy products and gonna go hang out in the countryside.
What do you mean discover American dairy products? Are you gonna like milk a cow or something?
Look, I don't.
You are going. It's Wisconsin, right? You're going there. Lots of cheese.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Are you gonna go hang out with Alex?
Look, maybe. If
where in Wisconsin are you going?
Well, listen, we can talk about this off the air because there might be some people who are already they got Expedia.com opened up ready to come find us. Otherwise, I have my own show.
Warren in his chalet, private chalet.
Yes, exactly. You can find me on my I have my own YouTube show, which will be tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. I also have a Patreon if you want to check that out with extra content that I do at patreon.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, or just follow me on Twitter at Mr. Warren Hayes. This is all up to you to decide.
Also, guys, I want to give Jeremy Lambert's Patreon some love. He's on vacation for the weekend. Well earned. One of the top guys at Fightful. Show his Patreon some love. But Alex, you are on Fightful Select. As of now, 2 times a week, and your next edition of Sour Graps is going to be free, and it's available on video and audio.
Yes, video and audio. I have 2 episodes up already. There'll be a 3rd tomorrow, which will be free to get all of your appetites whetted for the future full glasses of sour grap juice.
It's funny, because the way that I explained it was that Alex doesn't see the glass half empty. He sees it completely empty, but then he refills it with sour grap juice.
Yep.
So
right.
it is the glass isn't half full. The glass is full. And I
To the brim.
understand that might be confusing, but just subscribe to the goddamn service, okay? Thank you guys. I appreciate you all so much. Until next time, we're out.